Loki and I are having fun. Okay, guys, welcome back. I've got my little hug here to sip because I don't know, craziness going on with the throat, but let's try to make the video that I actually wanted to make you and I'm getting fox snips to make. You guys know a couple years ago, I was, looking into exploring and trying to figure out Therianism, being kin type, and all this other stuff. The unfortunate thing is everybody, well, not everybody, but a lot of people want to fight about it, make it a popularity contest, everything else. And I do believe that it's something that you're born into, you can't choose. And I believe that it can be scary and it can be frightening because you wonder if you're having a mental breakdown. And we've talked about before, I've had everything from very vivid dreams repeatedly to past life memories. And it's weird because I'm like, I've had some damn weird lives. I've apparently been like a cat, a fox, and a wolf, and all this other crazy stuff. And you guys know I've talked about, like, for the first 10 years, well, maybe not 10 years of my life, at least the first 7, you could not have broke me of the idea that I was a cat. But I knew I was not only a cat, and I would start having these very vivid dreams of being a wolf and running through the woods, and I'm like, okay. And everybody was just like, it's something kids do, don't worry about it. Kids think they're animals all the time. And I knew a lot of kids, and this is back in the 80s. Oh, kids today haven't invented anything. Um, I knew a lot of other kids that identified as whatever, and we all wanted collars and to like play with like cat toys. I even ate cat food. I was like down, man, for being a cat. I meow and I and everything else. I bit people. I bit people. I would play with the cats and play like a cat, and my mother had to tell me to be gentle and not try to claw the cat or anything, but I played just like a cat. So you're all going, "Oh my God, she's been wagyu forever," but that was just normal to me. And I remember, having dreams of being a wolf. I had a dragon dream once, which was really interesting. But, people will go, well, that's just a dream. That's just what you feel, whatever. But as I started to explore, it's just a lot of stuff clicked for me because a lot of animals, it's not just a totem connection for me. It's like, that is what I was or that is what I am. I know I'm a human being. I know I'm a Homo sapien before you start typing in the, some kind of cure network. But definitely wolves. Definitely wolves. I have this strong affinity attunement to wolves. And Odin's been saying, because I shut my mouth for a year or so, he's been saying, you howl to the goddamn wolves every time a video comes on. You know you're a wolf. He said, this wolf comes out and you're just, oh, every time you see them. And he says, you see puppies and you don't want to hold them like a human. You want to pick them up in your mouth and go run in the den and hide them. He said, he really doesn't care. He doesn't care if it's just something I really identify with or it's something real. He doesn't care. He's like, you're a wolf. And Loki is the same way with foxes. He's like, you definitely do the fox thing too. And we used to do shifting stuff and everything. Odin would have me do wolf stuff. Loki would have me do fox stuff. And I'm like, well, is this just, witchcraft again back in the day before the internet? Yes, the planet existed before then. You'd have books about you should be able to shapeshift into this and that and whatever else on the astral plane. So I was kind of like, this must be what it is. It's nothing more than that. I can't really be a fox. I can't really be a wolf. I was never really a cat. But it's kind of a thing as I was looking at what the Therian community has become, and there are nice places that you can go that everybody's not horrible. Um, it's kind of a thing of, I think it's pretty much agreed on that it's something you're born into. It's not something you can choose. There are people that like to choose to explore, fine, but it's something you are. It's both a blessing and a curse because it's a blessing to identify so strongly with an animal, whether you feel a kinship towards them, or you feel it was a past life thing, or you feel it's a spiritual thing, or some people have said it's a coping mechanism. It's nothing you really choose, but it can be an asset because that animal has a lot of great qualities. It can also be, a curse because, if I really behaved like a wolf all the time, every time I saw humans, I would run away and I would never leave my house because humans would be scary. Or if the only thing I knew about wolves was from watching movies, I would bite everybody and growl at people or, whatever. So we've been talking about that, and I found this community and these people actually seem nice. I'm not going to say where it is. And when that person came and was attacking me and like trying to invalidate experiences I had, I'm like, this is exactly why I did walk away from it. And this is exactly why I don't talk about it. But Loki's like, you have to speak your truth. To me, it's nothing that helps the channel. I'm missing the straw. Excuse me, try not to cough. It's nothing that helps the channel. It's not going to help the channel if I come on about being a wolf or I come on about being a cat. I'm no longer a child. You're not going to see me crawling on all fours in camera. There's a serious chance from all the car wrecks and that I've been in. There's a serious chance that I get down there. I'm going to get up eventually, but it's not going to be like kids pop straight up. Yeah, I can't run on all fours. With that strange, crazy reaction I had to makeup and everything, I don't really wear jewelry or anything, so I'm not going to be like wearing a collar or anything. I do have like cute dress up stuff for the wolf stuff, but you guys have seen that as part of a Halloween costume. And it's nothing that it's going to help talking to you guys about, like, oh, today I was really a wolf and I was doing this and I was doing that, or I did meditation and I did the wolf stuff. It's really not going to help the channel. Same thing for the Fox thing. Same thing for Asmodeus kind of came on and blew the wheels off the bus, I think, because Asmodeus was like, oh, you believe in kin type, huh? I think you're demon kin. And he's very persuasive, you know. And he's like, I think you're a succubus. And who wouldn't want to be one, right? They got the banging body, they got the wings and everything, especially in art, especially in anime games. Woo woo! Who wouldn't want to be a succubus? So, I was like, well, is this shape shifting? Is this Therian thing? I don't know. Payman really yelled at Asmodeus. He said, you leave her alone. And Payman was like, don't look at any of this. Concentrate on doing anything but being a wolf or a fox or a succubus or whatever he's trying to get you to do. He said, you're not paying attention. You're not doing your lessons. You're not doing your own studies. If you can start doing all that and then you have free time, then you can look at something. But no, not this succubus thing, because I've seen how you get. So he dragged me away from that. But we were having that time, remember, where like demons and some angels were coming and looking at me, and you'd get like, and I know they were doing it because they saw it in movies, because a lot of them are sarcastic. Like this, like I can smell it on you. I think they like to play with us. I think they love us and they like to play with us. I think at the end of the day, the gods really don't care if Therian is actually a thing or not. If it makes you happy to identify as wolf, or a tree, or a fairy, or ghost, or whatever, that's fine. I think if you start gatekeeping, or you start getting toxic, or, gods forbid, you start giving out bad information about it, then yeah, I think they really do mind. And I just didn't want to fight with anybody. And that's actually, whether you want to say that comes from having a wolf totem or being wolf kin. I want to be off on my own. I don't want to fight with you. They have the term gray muzzle and probably wouldn't qualify because I wasn't so deeply involved with the kin community. I actually keep away from Therians. It's just for that there's a lot of infighting and everything. I'm not interested in fighting with you. I'm gonna go be over here. And I think the hardest thing I've seen, especially for wolf Therians, is if you were brought up on bad information about wolves, then you find out the actual facts, then there goes your wolf identity and what are you, you know? Finding out that there's no actual pack structure, that's if you want to technically you could say in captive wolves that aren't related, yes, it kind of works out that way, but it's actually in the wild in natural circumstances. It's just parents with their kids and maybe some aunties and uncles hanging around. So, if you found that out and then you found out there's really not a moon connection, even though I've seen wolf rescue places claim it and they should know better, Wolves don't howl at the full moon. They howl all the time. They howl in the morning, they howl at night, they howl at the tree. If they live anywhere that they can hear a fire whistle go off, they howl at that too. They just howl to howl. They like it. It's their thing. They're very vocal animals, but they're also very skittish. And like I said, if I totally went totally wolf, I would be running away from people, terrified of dogs. If I went into cat, I would be like climbing a tree every time I saw a dog. So I think it's a thing of you can really have a theory type. I believe in it. I really believe you can have a kin type, whatever you're. I'm more fluid on the terminology. Some people get to be grammar Nazis on it. But I think you can be, and you just are because you were born that way, just like I was born gay or needing glasses. But I also think it's kind of a thing of you have to learn balance. You have to learn you have to be a human and live in this world and do what you have to do to go to work if you're an adult and do what you have to do to do whatever, run your house, everything else. And you can't go wolf or whatever all the time. So it's really nothing I even talk about because whether I'm a wolf or not, it doesn't help me run this channel, you know? It's not the wolf in me going out and doing research. The wolf wouldn't care. What would a wolf in the woods care about research or what humans think about religion or much of anything else? They wouldn't, you know? And it's not like the fox or the cat or anything does any of this stuff either. Bastet used to be amused by it. She thought it was very sweet and would pat the little kitty cat on the head because she remembered me doing it from my childhood. I think they watch us longer than we know them. And it's just a thing, but it's the other thing I wanted to mention, it's also not the best reason to get involved with a god. Like, just because you're a Foxtherian or kin or whatever, you want to call yourself, don't just go up to the first god that has foxes and think you're going to instantly bond. For example, in Nori's case, they sacrifice foxes still to this day and give fox parts to a Nori. It's kind of a part I usually leave out. And, for Loki, foxes are modern tradition because they will wreck your house, like we just said the last video. It doesn't mean you're going to get along. It doesn't mean you're going to like each other. They probably really, the fox is only a tiny iota of who they are. It's not their whole personality. In fact, the priest will tell you that calling a Nori a fox is dead wrong, and they look, just as human as any other kami. The people will argue about that, but just because they have foxes is not like a great reason to try to serve them. Same thing with Loki. Just because he's attached to foxes doesn't mean you're going to get along with him. Especially if you want to fight over everything. Loki would be the last god I'd give to people, so would Inari. I love Loki to bits, but he wouldn't be a starter god to me because he will get you in order, is what he will do. He wouldn't be a starter god to me. Neither would Odin. But some people, they start with them and they're fine, but to me, I've worked with them so long, I'm like, I wouldn't just toss someone in the deep end with Odin because they'll either make it or they won't, Same thing with Loki. It's also kind of, I think you guys know, the gods can call you, sure, but, just like I said recently, don't work with a demon just because you saw them in a horror movie. That's generally a terrible idea. Don't work with Loki just because you saw him in a Marvel movie or you read a comic book or you saw him in a video game. It's the same thing. It's cool to be into a god and to study them and fine, approach them if you want, but understand they're not that video game character. They're not a comic book character. They're real and man, they are opinionated. And once you get them into your life, you can't get them out, And if you've done something like really offend people as you keep going around, they might not answer you anyhow because, if you're asking people that really work with them and they keep going to that god and saying, well, hey, so-and-so just showed up and did X, Y, and Z, the god might be offended, And I'm not saying because this person came on and was rude and disrespectful, Loki will never work with them, but I definitely went to Loki and complained to him. I'm like, what is it about you, Loki, that you attract these people that need to fight? And, he had better things to do than look at me or answer. But, the Therian thing is no big deal for me, and I'm not gonna fight with you over it, because to me, it's like, I accept the fact that, we can't prove spirituality. We can't prove the gods are real. I believe they are, but can we prove it scientifically? No. Can I prove Therianism or kin type is a real thing? No, I can't. Do I think that it can be useful? Yeah. So there you go. But yeah, Loki wanted me to get the 2 cents in on that. That was really the video he wanted me to make, but typical of, I guess, the Fox. Did not want to let go of something, most won't let go either. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised to find out there's Wolverine in there, but it's just there's so many different threads out in the Therian community that I try to keep away from it sometimes, because there are people that are like 8 different things at once, and some people are like, that's totally valid, and some people are like, no, you have to have been one thing your whole entire life, and if you're not valid. I think a lot of it, depending on the platform, is just people trying things out, and alright, I'm not judging anybody whether they're Therian or kin or not. But also, when people are seeking attention, you just know, because they showboat and they're grandiose and they're so cool and everything else. And I'm like, wolves and foxes generally become pelts for people to wear, and they get ground up into dog food. I don't think I have that special thing going on here. And cats, let's not think about what people do to cats. So, it's one of those things where I don't think it makes me special. I don't think it's a type of magic. I think it's just, maybe it's something that we all have inside us. Maybe even the normies have it too, and they just don't want to admit it. Maybe there's really an animal that they resonate with, that if they would meditate on transforming into that animal or whatever, maybe that would help them. I don't know. So if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later. Bye bye.